The story of Theseus first begins with his father, Aegeus, the king of Athens. King Aegeus wanted a child, but so far hadn't been able to produce one, and so went to King Pythias of Trojan, asking him for help. To respond to his plea, King Pythias gave to him his daughter, Aethra, to marry. That very same night, Poseidon took an interest in Aethra and seduced her, the result being a mortal with godly abilities, a child named Theseus. Aegeus wanted to return to Athens, but not before leaving behind his sword and sandals, burying them under a large boulder. He said that when his son was able to move the rock and take the sword and sandals, it would be proof of his lineage. When Theseus turned 16, thanks to his supernatural powers, he was able to move the rock and was on his way to Athens to reclaim his birthright, choosing not to go by sea, but by land, which was more dangerous and guarded by the 6 gates to the underworld, each of which had its own guardian. Periphetes the Clubber was the guardian of the first gate at Epidaurus, who would beat his opponents into the earth with his club. Theseus defeated him, pounding him into the earth, and was on his way. He would then go against a man named Sinis, who would tie his victims to 2 bent trees and would release the trees, tearing his victims in half. Theseus defeated the next guardian, a wild boar called Chromion, and continued on his way. His next opponent would be Sciron at the Evil Stairs in Gerania, a series of large rocks next to the sea. Sciron would ask his victims to wash his feet before kicking them into the sea, where a giant sea turtle would eat them. Theseus, however, kicked him into the ocean, and Sciron was eaten by the turtle. His next fight would be against Cercion at Eleusis, a man who challenged all travelers who passed him, and a man who had never lost a fight. Theseus defeated him by picking him up and slamming into the ground. His final challenge would be against Damastes, a man who would lie his victims on a bed and measure them. If they were too tall, he would cut off their feet. If they were too short, he would stretch them. Theseus, however, killed him, clearing the road to Athens for future travelers. No one in Athens knew who he was, however. King Aegeus' new wife, a witch named Medea, thought he was a threat, and she sent him to fight a bull that had been terrorizing Marathon. The bull proved to be of little challenge for him, and he returned to Athens victorious. On his return, the witch Medea tried to kill him with a poisoned cup of wine. Before he took a drink, King Aegeus saw his sword and took the cup from his hand, recognizing him as his son, and Medea was driven out of Athens. Theseus then began his most famous conquest, the slaying of the Minotaur of the Labyrinth, a creature that was half bull, half man. Every year, 7 boys and 7 girls were sacrificed to it to keep it happy, but one year Theseus decided to go in place of one of the boys, sailing in a ship with black sails. If he was successful, he said he would change the sails to white. While in Crete, he fell in love with the daughter of King Minos, Ariadne, who gave him a ball of string, instructing him to tie it to the entrance of the labyrinth so as not to lose his way, and to always go forward and down, never left or right. After making his way through the labyrinth, he found a Minotaur and killed it with his bare hands. After killing the Minotaur, he and Ariadne fled Crete and partied on the island of Delos. However, Ariadne fell asleep on the island, and she was left there when Theseus sailed back to Athens. Angry, she cursed Theseus, and he forgot to change the sails of his ship to white. Seeing the black sails, his father, Aegeus, flung himself into the sea, committing suicide, and the sea was named the Aegean Sea in his honor, and Theseus was named king. A young man named Pirithous, prince of Lapiths, had heard about Theseus' deeds and decided to challenge him. He let loose all of Theseus' cattle from Marathon, and when Theseus came to get them back, the 2 men fought. However, both men were impressed with each other's abilities, and the 2 became friends. Both men were sons of Zeus and Poseidon, and so said they would marry the daughters of Zeus. Theseus chose Helen, and he and Pirithous went to Mount Olympus and kidnapped her. Pirithous chose Persephone, wife of Hades, and he and Theseus went to the underworld to retrieve her. While they were there, Hades pretended to give them a feast. As soon as they sat down, they were bound by snakes and trapped in the underworld. Eventually, Hercules came by and freed Theseus, but when he went to free Pirithous, the earth shook, and they were separated, and Pirithous remained trapped. Afterwards, Theseus traveled to the land of the Amazons, an all-woman race who reproduced with men, but killed them afterwards. Sensing no danger, they sent their queen aboard, Hippolyta, bearing gifts. However, Theseus kidnapped her, starting a war between Athens and the Amazons. Hippolyta had a son with Theseus named Hippolytus, but soon after, Theseus lost interest in Hippolyta, another woman, Phaedra, having caught his eye, and had 2 sons with her named Demophon and Acamas. However, Phaedra fell in love with Theseus' other son, Hippolytus, though he rejected her. As revenge, she wrote a letter to Theseus telling him that Hippolytus had raped her. Before hanging herself, Theseus asked Poseidon for help, and the god of the sea sent a giant bull from the ocean out to scare Hippolytus' horse and drag the man into the sea. Soon afterwards, Menestheus seized the throne of Athens, and Theseus fled the city, going to Skyros. While he was there, King Lycomedes killed him by throwing him off the cliff. His bones were returned to Athens, and his tomb was dedicated to the poor and helpless. Theseus' life had come to an end, but even today his legend still lives on.